I don't know if you can hear me very well, but I'm going to try and raise my voice, or should come in a little bit closer. As you can see, another exotic location behind me. Not too sure what it is. The motorboats flying past. Well, they don't fly, do they? They kind of more like swim, don't they? Well, there's one. Just to show I'm in a really sporting environment. No sign of a football stadium nearby, but I'll tell you what, plenty of baseball courts. Baseball courts, is that what they call them? Anyway, baseball grounds, training grounds. As you can tell, I'm sweating profusely. That's a sort of more polite way of saying something sort of semi-rude, but not really rude. Anyway, plenty of news on the transfer front. Got to catch up with loads of stuff. Obviously, Calum Chambo. A lot of talk about who is the real Chambo. Is it the Chamberlain, Oxlade-Chamberlain, or is it the new signing Calum Chambers? I have to say, if anyone's going to be Chambo, it's going to be not Chamberlain, Oxlade-Chamberlain, the other one. So, going to talk about that, or perhaps I already have. Like Remy, latest on him. Nacho Monreal, is there any latest on him? Well, if there is, you're going to hear it right here. Hector Bellerin. Who else can I talk about? David Ospina, who sounds like a cricketer, but as we now know, isn't. He's a goalkeeper, and he's now an Arsenal goalkeeper. Fernando Torres, what's he got to do with us? Not much, but still something to say on him. Jenkinson, quite a bit to say on him. Douglas Costa, fair bit to say about him. A little bit to say about Morgan Schneiderlin, who I said can be a little bit schneidi sometimes, as his Twitter remarks confirm. Who else? Juan Quintero. Did I ever talk about him before? Well, if not, I am going to now. BT Sport. Don't really like talking about BT Sport, but I will just for you. Roberto Firmino. Is there a firm bid? A firm bid in line for this player. Sami Khedira. Where would we be without Sami Khedira talk? Who else? Alexis Sanchez, the squirrel. I didn't know he was a squirrel. Maybe I've been living in a hole in the ground instead of a hole up a tree. That's why I didn't know about the squirrel. And who else is there to talk about? Well, let's start with Schneiderlin, because Giroud. Giroud, there's a bit to say about him as well. But I think I'll start with Schneiderlin because I've got two sets of notes on him. I don't know if you've heard about this. You probably have, but apparently, here I am. By the way, I'm standing on a slope here, so if I look a bit giddy, that is the reason. Anyway, doesn't look like I'm standing on the slope, does it? Although I can't actually see what I look like because it's just, well, the sun is pretty intense, and the screen, I don't know what I'm doing on the computer screen, but anyway, enough in-house stuff, you don't need to know that. Morgan Schneiderlin, £27 million he may cost if he does in fact join us, which seems unlikely, as he would prefer to go to Spurs, but boo hiss. His tweet goes like this: 6 years of an amazing journey, hashtag Saints FC, destroyed in capital letters in 1 hour, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Well, first of all, we should get rid of 2 of those exclamation marks. You only need 1, don't you? But anyway, Ralph Kruger, the chairman, says he's not going anywhere, so perhaps he won't even go to Spurs after all. What else have I got to say on him? Not a great deal. He wants first team football apparently, which is why he's not guaranteed out of an Arsenal, and that's why he's not going to join us. Which makes you wonder why we've been connected with so many midfielders. Douglas Costa being another one. Previously a Brazilian under-20 international. How many caps has he got for the full international side? As far as I can see, none. So to me, that means he's not necessarily going to get a work permit straight away, as we found out with Alexis Sanchez, who's in fact training on his own. It could be a bit difficult getting the Home Office to grant a player, no matter how many Champions League goals and assists he set up. It could be difficult getting him a work permit. That's my theory. Even though he only cost, what, €6 million when signing from Gremio, Shakhtar Donetsk will now apparently consider bids. Well, I'm saying well, apparently. I don't think they will want to sell him, but he looks like a good player in all the footage I've seen. But anyway, we're talking that we could test their resolve with a 15.8 million bid. Apparently we put a bid in 3 years ago. It was in fact rejected. The player now being linked with Monaco. Honestly, for some reason I can't, well, a lot of reasons. Why can't I see him joining Arsenal? We've got a plethora of midfielders, so why sign another one? Even though he is excellent, do we need another number 10? I think we're putting all our eggs in the basket, which has got on the side of it Ozil. That's my opinion. I don't think I don't think we're gonna look for another midfielder. Certainly not an attacking, creative midfielder. This guy's pretty tough though. I think he could stand up to the rigours of the Premier League. He's about 5'7", but he's strong. He's a very strong 5'7" player. So yeah, I can see that he would do well in the Premier League, but whether it's with Arsenal remains to be seen. I'd say not really. Well, who else provides us this? Roberto Firmino. I said his name wrong, I think, last time, or I managed to correct myself. But anyway, he's currently with Hoffenheim. 14 assists and 16 goals. Sounds like a good statistic. That's why we may well come in with a firm bid. It's going to cost a lot of money though, and well, you know, you're talking what, £13 million, I think. I'm just having a look. Well, anyway, when I tried to check up the latest footage on him, all I got was invalid parameters. I'm doing a lot of these rabbit signs today. I don't know. I'm just in the mood for that. Anyway, there he is, Firmino. I don't think he's going to be leaving to join us anyway, but still got to mention it because nowadays we actually link with players that we go on to sign. So you've got to be optimistic about that. One player we will not be signing is Loic Remy. Obviously, there was talk he was going to go to Liverpool. That's not happened. Harry Redknapp, the QPR boss, is furious that Remy's failed a medical because he can't believe that's possible. But Liverpool decided against it after going through all the motions, and Harry Redknapp is pretty shocked about it. I've got to say, I would personally take a risk on him, depending on the price, really. But I think he's worth a risk. Obviously, Liverpool disagree with that. Sami Khedira, is he worth a risk? As I've said before, we don't really need a midfielder, I don't feel. But he's versatile. He can play as a more defensive midfielder. But 29 million euros apparently is the asking price. But the problem appears to be the amount of wages he's demanding. I think it's the Evening Standard are saying that he's going to take a wage cut, but he's still going to cost an awful lot of money. We're talking £135,000 per week is what he wants. He's currently earning a lot more than that, so you could say he's being generous to us by allowing us to snap him up at the snip. I don't know what he's shouting about. Keep quiet over there. Anyway, so that could happen, or could it not? I'd say not, personally. £135,000 a week is a lot more than Arsenal are normally willing to pay. He would shatter the wage bill, the ceiling of the wage bill, and then, you know, everyone's going to be asking for more money because those will come into the office, knock on the door, and say, Arsene, I want more as well. I'm just supposing that. One player who won't be costing a lot on the wage bill is Hector Bellerin, but nevertheless could be loaned out to Real Zaragoza of Spain, apparently. Surprised there's not more interest from the UK in this player. Perhaps there is, but it looks like he's going to be going to Spain on loan. Obviously, we've now got another right back in the squad in Calum Chambers, who can also play centre back. He's wearing the number 5 incidentally the other day in training, so that's fueled suggestions that perhaps Thomas Vermaelen will be on the way out to Manchester United or even Liverpool. Liverpool apparently interested as well in Vermaelen. So anyway, Calum Chambers in, looks like Bellerin out. Carl Jenkinson also on the way out, probably to West Ham for £3 million, although there's plenty of interest elsewhere. The other interested clubs being Sunderland, Hull City, Swansea, and also Southampton. Southampton, very much a selling club, hence me calling them Southampton the other day. Anyway, they want Jenkinson, and apparently they want Serge Gnabry as well. Gnabry seems a more likely candidate to be moving down to the south coast, but you never know, perhaps Jenkinson will join him. A lot of Arsenal fans saying they don't want Jenkinson to go out except on loan, because he's still young, let's face it, and he's been in the England squad. Not that it's that difficult to get into the England squad nowadays, but he's been in the England squad, so why get rid of him? He's still young, he's still developing. I personally think he could even play centre-back one day. I'm not sure. I'm wondering if the reason why he's going to get shipped out, if he is indeed going to get shipped out, perhaps the only reason I can think of is off the field activities. The very fact that he's a proper Arsenal fan sometimes isn't going in his favour, because there he is singing songs about Spurs. Perhaps the Arsenal hierarchy deem those songs to be inappropriate given some of the language. You can understand that. But they should just have a word with him, let him off this time. That's my feeling, rather than ship him out. If that's the reason, I hope it isn't. Anyway, who else is there? Or perhaps it's an excuse, a bit like Harry Redknapp said that with Loic Remy, it's just purely an excuse. It's a good job I've got these sunglasses on, I tell you, because there's so much sweat dripping in my eyes now. I'm struggling to read whatever I've got in front of me. David James, the former England goalkeeper, reckons that David Ospina is the wrong keeper. We've signed the wrong goalkeeper. Nice of him to tell us now, after we've already made the move to bring in Ospina. Who did he say we should sign instead? I can't remember, but somebody also excellent. I'm pretty happy with the signing, I've got to say. He's surely got to be better than Fabianski. If he isn't, I'll eat my hat, even though I haven't got one currently with me. I'll find one, don't worry about that. Well, I might get a special one made out of rice and eat that, but anyway, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? Fernando Torres, he's not so happy. He's for sale apparently. I haven't heard an awful lot on it, and quite why it's linked with Arsenal, I'm not sure, but I did see some tenuous link. I think it was just somebody putting the word Arsenal in one of the search engines and Torres, and the link, you know, it's one of those search words, a tag. I mean, so that's about as tenuous as it gets, really. Who else? Juan Quintero, talking of tenuous, £15.8 million. This attacking midfielder of Colombia and Porto. He's going to cost something like that, apparently. I've also got another fee, £20 million. I think that's what the asking price is, and 15.8 million seems to be all we're prepared to offer for anybody right now. So if your name's Quintero, if it's Costa, we're going to offer you £15.8 million for this player's services, and take it or leave it. And usually clubs are leaving it. Well, that was the thing of the past. But now that we've got our official club partner on board, BT Sport, for another year, well, we should be flush with money, shouldn't we? Particularly the way they rip off their customers. Oops, did I say that? Well, I got a bill from BT Sport the other day, and I was a bit surprised by it. They charge for time when you're not actually watching their channel, so I find that really interesting. So that's why I call it ripping off customers. I'm not amazingly keen on BT Sport, I have to say, but that's another story. I'm sure you don't want to know the ins and outs of that. If there any more comes of it, I paid my bill off for what it's worth, and it was worth quite a lot to them and not too much to me. So what more can I say on that, apart from, which has got nothing to do with it, Olivier Giroud, staying with the club till 2018. He's already on a contract till 2016. Apparently the club have offered him an extension, and I'm pleased to hear that, because he is a very good player no matter what anybody says. I'm a big fan of Olivier Giroud. And finally, Alexis, the Squirrel Sanchez, will score less than 12 goals according to the bookies, but apparently the fans know better, because 97 or 98% of them reckon he will score in excess of that number. Well, I wonder if those fans will put their money where their mouth is. Bookies don't often get it wrong, do they? And me too. I'm not saying I'll never get it wrong, but I've said all along, we can't expect too much from this guy in the first season. The Squirrel will not earn his corn, I was going to say, or cob nuts. He won't really be earning his cob nuts until the following year. This year is his settling in period, so let's not put too much pressure on him. Let's just let him settle, and he may well be a good signing of the future. That's why I didn't jump up and down with excitement when he signed, because I actually thought it's going to take time for him to bed in with the rest of the team, particularly as he's a squirrel and mostly lives up trees. But now, coming back down to ground level, I'm going to say my final sayonara, adios. So it should be sayonara where I'm at. Until the next time, I will say, away!